up, Rockstar? Welcome to your low impact upper body strength class. I'm Coach Nisha and I'm so happy to have you here with me today. So for your equipment today, what you're going to need is a variety of weighted objects. We are going to be using some resistance for some upper body moves, such as a tricep kickback, some hammer curls to a bent arm lateral raise, and some wide rows. So if you're familiar with those moves and know what your strength is there, have those weights handy. Or you can search around your house and try to find some weighted objects like cans of food, bottles of wine, anything you can grip well, and move through these moves with little resistance. And also an optional elevated surface for some modifications. All right, so we're gonna get right into this, and we're gonna start with a down dog to a push-up, to a plank, to some slow mountain climbers. It sounds like a lot, but it's just a little bit of a complex move. Just gonna move through it and flow. It's gonna be great. But first we're gonna start by getting into a tall plank. So you can either do this on your elevated surface or down on the mat. Then you're gonna bend your knees, plant your hands beneath your shoulders, and step your feet back to a nice tall plank. Let's go ahead and check in with our form. We're getting warmed up here. So your gaze is neutral. You're looking ahead of your fingertips so that your neck isn't crunching. Your wrists are just beneath your shoulders. Your core is braced. Your legs are involved as well, so you're nice and strong. Now we're gonna move into a downward dog. So send those hips up and back. Bending those knees as needed, especially since we're just getting warmed up. We're probably pretty tight in our hamstrings. All right, so from here, we're gonna shift it forward and come down to a tricep push-up, which means your elbows are gonna stay in beside your rib cage as you come down to where your elbows are about in line with the rib cage as well. Push it back up to a nice tall plank, and then draw your right knee in towards your chest, step it back, and left knee in towards your chest, and then step it back. And we're just gonna repeat that. So now we're gonna officially get started. I'm gonna do this on the mat. Let's do it. So bend your knees, plant your hands. Ooh, getting my timer started. This guy is really loud. Okay, step it back to a nice tall plank. Hips up and back to that downward dog. Shift it forward as you bend your arms, keeping that core braced for that push-up, and then those slow mountain climbers. Keep moving on through that. Keep that core nice and pulled in the whole time, even as you're moving down for this push-up. And if this push-up is a bit still too challenging for you when you're down on the mat, you can always drop your knees and complete the push-up that way. Just make sure your butt isn't lifting towards the sky as you do it. And you also don't want an arch forming in your lower back as well, because that means you aren't engaging your core properly. Doing awesome. 5 more seconds. Keep that breath flowing. I'm just gonna finish this one and then we're moving on. Amazing work. All right. Whew. Take a little breather. That first move's always a little bit of a burner for me as my body gets warmed up. I'm sure it's the case for you as well. So we're gonna move on to some tricep kickbacks. So because this is your first set, feel free to use something a little lighter to feel out where you are in your body. We're different every day, so we really want to engage our energy levels as we move through this first set. So once you have those 2 weighted objects, meet me standing, trying to catch my breath. And you're going to stand up nice and tall, feet are about hip distance apart, a little bit of a bend to those knees just so they're not locked out, and a little bit of a tuck to that pelvis, shoulders are back and down. This is a nice setup. And then we're gonna hinge it forward, sending that butt back, keeping that back flat, and elbows are gonna come up beside your rib cage, and we're gonna keep them there. And now just straighten out those elbows. Awesome. So we're doing 8 to 12 here. Keep that rib cage knit in so that you're not creating this arch in your spine. You wanna keep it pulled in nice and strong. That was a major exaggeration on my part, but just trying to show you. We're just gonna hold it for a moment at the top. Feel those triceps doing their work. Keep those shoulders back and down. Keep your gaze neutral, meaning you're not looking down and you're not looking up. You want a nice long line through your spine, all the way out the top of your head. Amazing. I'm gonna do 2 more. Feel free to keep going, continually checking on your form. You're sitting back into your heels, so you should be feeling the strength through your entire posterior chain here. All right, that was definitely my last one. Come back up to standing. You did so well. We're gonna move on to some wide rows. I'm gonna stick with the same weight I have to see where I am. Feel free to switch it out if you are more confident in the amount of resistance that you need. So, shake out those arms a little bit if you like, roll those shoulders back and forward because we're gonna do another hinging motion here. So, same form, standing tall, core is braced, shoulders are back and down before you even get started. And hinge those hips like you're shutting a car door. With those hips, you're setting them back and keeping that back nice and flat. Amazing. Now we're gonna bring it to a wide row. Shoulders are back and down, which means your elbows are gonna go out about 45 degrees. Squeeze between your shoulder blades there. Really pulling it up. Awesome, keep that gaze neutral. Try to look straight ahead. So what I mean by that is don't look to the side, unless you're doing it momentarily to check in your form. But don't watch yourself from the side the whole time, because that's gonna torque your alignment. Sitting back into those heels a bit. Should be feeling this in your glutes as well. Not big time, but, or maybe big time, depending on our bodies. So 8 to 12 reps here. Try to keep the rest of your body still as we move through these upper body moves so that we're really isolating this to our back for this move. All right, last two for me. If you're not quite there, please feel free to pause the video and keep going. This is your workout. So go at your own pace. That's why it's really good to have these recorded classes, because you can do whatever you need to do to make it work for you. So that was our first circuit. You did so well. We're gonna do all that twice more, and then we'll move on to our second circuit. Feel free to have a little bit of water for this moment while we catch our breath. Feel that burn that's happening in our bodies already. Maybe you can drink a little rock and restore, which goes a long way to keeping our bodies fueled during these strength workouts and any of our workouts, actually. Okay, so meet me standing. Back to that down dog move. Feel free to use an elevated surface or join me down on the mat. So I'm just gonna make sure my timer is going, and we're just gonna do this for 1 minute. So let's pump it out. Go ahead and bend your knees, plant your hands beneath your shoulders, step it back, check in on that plank form before you even get moving, and let's do it. Send those hips up and back, bending knees as needed. Shift it forward as you squeeze those elbows in for a tricep push-up, and draw those knees in towards your chest, keeping your body moving as smoothly as possible. You don't have to move fast through this. The slow transitions are really going to do a lot for your muscular control. Really trying to make it smooth. 10 more seconds here. You got it. Keeping that spine neutral, that neck neutral the whole time. And that was the last second. Come back to this downward dog a bit for a nice juicy stretch. Can pedal those legs out a bit, just because it feels nice. Awesome, shift it forward. Come down to your knees. We're gonna switch to those tricep kickbacks. So pick a weight that's gonna serve you. Meet me standing. We're gonna get right into this. So, core is braced, shoulders back and down. Get that ribcage knit in so you're not flaring out. This way, everything's strong as you hinge at those hips. Elbows by your sides and kick it back. Well done. Continually check in on your form. You might see me making little adjustments. Even as coaches need to do that. We can always improve. And that's exciting to me. That means there's always more ways that we can go up and become better versions of ourselves. Whew, this is burning like crazy. All right, last 3 seconds. Pardon me, not 3 reps for me. Awesome. When you're done, meet me standing. We're gonna move on to those wide rows. Feel free to keep those weights if they worked for you last time, or you can switch it out. It is hot as heck in here. All right, so those wide rows, core is braced, a little bend of those knees as we hinge those hips back, getting the weight into those heels. Set yourself up before you even get into this upper body movement. And here we go. Elbows out wide. Well done. Your palms are facing your body a bit. You really want to feel this in your shoulders and between your shoulder blades. Woo! And if you picked a heavier weight this time, and you can't even do 8 reps, pick something a little bit lighter. Go ahead and switch it out, because our rep range is 8 to 12, meaning you want to get in between that rep range. So a little bit more than 8, less than 12. You want to get to just before you burn out at 12. Whew, I've got 2 more. And 1. Wow. All right, when you're set, go ahead and bend your knees, put those weights down, grab another quick sip of water if you like, and we're gonna do that one more time. Woo, feeling that in the triceps. Feel free to do arm circles whenever you're resting, take little opening motions, get some space in those joints. Feels really good for me. Maybe it'll feel good for you too. All right, let's get to that down dog combo move. Here we go. At the top of your mat, go ahead and plant your hands beneath your shoulders and step it back. Let's get into it. Hips sent up and back. Shift it forward as you keep those elbows in, bending down. And those slow mountain climbers. Awesome. Rotating those elbows in means you're externally rotating those arms to really help you squeeze in towards your body as you do that push-up. Try to keep your weight evenly distributed through your finger pads and your palms. So awesome. You got 10 seconds left, and this is the last bit of this move we're going to be doing. Woo! And 3, 2, 1. Well done. Shift it down. Pick those weights for the tricep kickbacks. Meet me standing. All right, core brace, shoulders back and down. Hinge those hips. I always like to touch my fingers to the hips to feel that that is where the bend is coming in and it's not happening in my back. All right, here we go. Elbows by your sides. Kick it back. Holding just for a moment. Keep those shoulders from rounding forward. So again, that little bit of rotation towards your rib cage. Let's see if I can show you that. So rotating it in. Awesome. Doing great. Check in with your core. Is an arch beginning to form in your lower back? That was happening for me. Sitting back into your heels a bit more, feeling this in your glutes is going to help to counteract that a bit. And last one for me. Amazing work. Switch out those weights if you're going to for those wide rows. Let's go ahead and reset that form. Core is braced, ribcage knit in, shoulders back and down. Hinge at those hips. Weights back in the heels, shoulders back and down again. And here we go. Wide row. Feel this between your shoulder blades. Keep that rib cage knit in so that all the work and the motion of moving these weights up is coming from your back and your shoulders. Woo! I've got 3 more. Keep that breath flowing. Woo! Maybe that was my last one. Let's try one more. Reset and go. Yeah, did it. All right. When you're set, go ahead and bend your knees. Put those weights down. One more sip of water, and here we go to our next circuit. We're going to start with a hammer curl to a bent arm lateral raise. And we're going to do 8 to 12 of these. Now, if you're stronger in your curls, I know I am, than I am on my shoulder work, because we do so much more with just bending our arms throughout the day. So we're bound to be, a lot of us are bound to be stronger that way. So I want you to choose a weight that's gonna work for the shoulders instead. And we'll build up from there, and then you can maybe eventually use the same weight that's gonna challenge both your biceps and your shoulders. All right, so remember, if you choose the wrong weight, you can always set it down and switch it out at any time. Okay, so standing tall, feet about hip distance, little tiny bend in those knees, little tuck to the pelvis to neutralize the spine, shoulders are back and down. Your palms are facing your body. And you're just gonna curl those weights up to your shoulders, keeping those elbows in beside your rib cage, and drop it down to where they're bent at 90 degrees. And then we're gonna lead with our elbows to raise those weights up. Awesome. And then all the way down to the starting position. Great. Now keep that up. So hammer curl it, 90 degrees, lateral raise, leading with those elbows. Awesome. Really try to control every portion of this move. Tiny pause at the top of each part to really feel what's happening. See if you need to adjust anything in your form. Check in that your core is still braced, that you're not allowing an arch to create in your spine. That little bend in your knees is gonna help with maintaining that braced core. Well done. Neutral gaze is gonna help you to really target where you want, so looking nice and ahead of you. I just noticed the difference from when I was looking at y'all to when I started looking forward. I felt it so much more evenly on both sides because we're not torquing our body. All right, I've got one more. Feel free to pause the video and keep going. Well done. Go ahead and bend your knees when you're done, placing that weight down. And you're gonna hear my cat jumping down. Okay, so our next 2 moves are body weight only. It's gonna be nice and challenging though still, don't worry. So we're moving on to a bird dog crunch, which is super effective. So you're gonna be down on your mat in a tabletop position. So your knees are directly into your hips, your palms are under your shoulders, your wrists are under your shoulders, and you want to check in that core is nice and braced, your spine is neutral. So there's no arch, there's no rounding. We want it just nice and strong, lengthen the sides of our bodies. Great. Now from here, you're going to extend your right arm straight out, and then your left leg straight out. Awesome. And then you're going to crunch them in together, extend it out, place it down, and then we're going to switch sides. We're going to do this for 1 minute, so let's do it. So left arm and right arm out, right leg out, crunch it in, bring it out, and repeat On the other side, be mindful that you're keeping those hips nice and parallel to the mat as much as you can. While you move through this, that's where the work's gonna come in. So it's really easy to allow those hips to open up like this and let everything collapse on the other side. You wanna stay strong, reaching with those arm and leg, crunching it in. Well done. Think of kicking that heel towards the wall behind you, like you're standing on that wall. So we're not creating an arch like this. See, I can go so much further, but what you want is that long line, kicking it back like you're standing. If you were to record yourself and turn the video on its side so that it looks like you're standing, see how your form aligns. See where you can work on it. All right, and that was the last one. Very well done. I'll give you a little bit more of a challenging option for next time if you're feeling saucy today. So our final move for this circuit is going to be a reverse, a reverse plank walkout. And let me show you how that looks. So you do have options. You can do this down on your mat. You can do it on an elevated surface. I just covered mine with a blanket because wicker is not kind on the elbows. So you're welcome to do this on your palms or on your elbows, depending on what's going to serve your body best. Some people have really tender wrists and haven't learned how to activate properly through the palms, so you're not activating through the wrists, which can lead to pain. So if that's the case, it's okay. You can do that on your fists or you can do it on your elbows. All of the options. All right, enough talking, Nisha. Let's do it. So, reverse walking plank. You're gonna either plant your hands facing backwards or forwards, play around with it, see what serves your body, or you can do it on your elbows. And you're gonna walk those legs out until they're long, press into those elbows so you're engaged between your shoulder blades, rotating those shoulders in towards each other, and keeping that core braced so your body's a nice flat line. Awesome. Now just hold that while I start our timer. You can do it. A little extra burn. All right. So you're up. You're welcome to stay here, looking neutral so your spine is not crunching anywhere. Or you could step in that right leg, keeping those glutes elevated, and then step in the left leg. And then you just step back out with that right leg, step back out with that left leg. And then you switch sides, alternating. I want you to really try to keep that body elevated, moving intentionally and slowly. Whew. So sweaty. You're doing so amazing. Keep that breath flowing. Ignore the sweat if it's slowly rolling towards your eyeball. We'll wipe it in a moment. We just have 10 seconds left. And remember, you don't have to do the walkout if this is hurting you in any way. Feel free to just hold it in the long plank, or you can hold it in reverse tabletop. All right, and last 3, 2, 1. Well done. Gently lower yourself down. Now you can wipe that sweat. Have a little water if you like. That was our second circuit. Not too bad, right? We're almost finished. Doing that twice more, you're crushing it. Okay, hammer curl to bent arm lateral raise. Choose the weight that's going to challenge you. So if it was super easy to get to 12 reps last time, choose something a little bit heavier. Try to move up in increments, meaning like a pound or 2 pounds. And we'll go on. All right, meet me standing with those weights. Nice and tall. Core braced, shoulders back and down like you're standing against a wall. Little bend of those knees. And here we go. Curl it up. Down to 90. Lateral raise it. Well done. Back down to the starting. Hammer curl it. 90. Keeping those elbows in beside your rib cage. You don't want them to flare out. You also don't want them to come too far in front of you or behind you. That stability is what's really going to help you to target the muscles that you want to target. Well done. 8 to 12 here. Check in if those shoulders are not rounding forward. Notice where you're feeling this. Keep those shoulder blades down and back, even as you do the lateral raise. Really focus on keeping that breath flowing. That oxygen is key to get to our muscles, and so we can keep working hard. So well done. I've got 2 more. You feel free to keep going, as always. We're all in our own journeys here, so no comparisons except to where we want to get to. All right. When you're set, bend your knees to set those weights down. Moving back to the bird dog crunch. Meet me in tabletop. And here we go. Now, I did promise you a more challenging option. So let's just go ahead and get into this and I'll tell you as we go. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Here we go. Extend opposite sides. Pressing the heels towards the back. Awesome. Now, if you want more of a challenge, what you're going to do is a bear crawl bird dog crunch. Meaning you're pressing strong through those shoulders and palms and through your toes to hover those knees. And you're going to keep those knees hovering as you shift to the lift. Woo! Very hard today for me. Crunching it in, reaching it out, setting it down, still keeping those knees lifted, your hips squared to the mat. It's much more of a balancing act with that knee lifted. So, if you're really feeling that challenge, go for it. It's okay if you're wobbly through any part of this move. That means you're working on this new skill, and you're just going to get stronger the more you do it. And last 3, 2, 1. Well done. All right, reverse plank. Here we go. I like doing this on my elevated surface, but I'm going to show you on the mat, just in case you want a little reference point. So, either on your palms or on your elbows. Legs extended out long, core is braced. Lift up to those hips, little tuck to the pelvis to neutralize that spine. And make sure you're nice and strong through those shoulders. All right, and you're just gonna step it up, step it up. Well done. Make sure you're starting with opposite sides if you're walking it back. You can come down your elbows if you're on the mat as well, which is gonna be super challenging because you have to press more through that lower body to get those hips lifted and keep that line through your body. Well done, only 10 more seconds. I'm gonna finish up on the elevated surface. Nice and strong through that upper back. And 3, 2, 1. Well done. Okay, good googly moogly. All of that one more time. All right, meet me standing, grabbing those weights that are gonna challenge you for the hammer curl to bent arm lateral raise. I'm gonna try a little heavier, see how it feels for me. I might have to switch it out. That's the fun of these workouts. All right, nice and tall. Core is braced, a little tuck to the pelvis, a little bend in the knees. And here we go. Curl it up, 90 degrees. Lift those shoulders, holding it at the top for a moment. Well done. 8 to 12 reps. Do it intentionally. Feel what's happening in your body. That mind-body connection is so important to continue progressing in your strength and alignment in your form, and even your flexibility, mobility rather. Because if you train with proper form, you're gonna weed out any muscular compensations that may be occurring, and we all have some somewhere. Whew. Oh, this is growing challenging for me. I'm gonna do one more. Oh yeah, definitely my last one. Gauged it just right there. All right. And when you're done, set those weights aside. We're all done with our weighted objects. And we'll move on to the bird dog crunch, whichever version you like. So, in tabletop. Here we go. Extend opposite side, arm and leg. Crunch it in. Trying to keep the rest of your body as stable as possible. We're isolating the motion to this leg and arm. And that also means trying to keep those hips from moving, which is super challenging. You got this. You're doing great. Keep that core braced. So good. 20 more seconds. You got it. Really use the strength of that core to round and crunch in. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. All right. And onward to our final reverse plank, walk out, or just reverse plank hold. Okay. Here we go. You ready? Psyching myself out too. Set yourself up on your elbows, on your palms, on your fists, on the mat, or on the elevated surface. So many options. Here we go. Let's do it. Make sure you're not collapsing in your shoulders. Again, we want to keep that as still as possible as we move our legs. So good. Almost there. I like to splay my hands like this because it reminds me to keep everything active in my upper body. Keeping a little tuck to that pelvis. And as you step those feet out, you want those toes to be facing up towards the mat. That's going to create length through your side body. All right, last 10 seconds. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Go ahead and bring your hips down. Have some water. And thank yourself for showing up and doing such amazing work. Really pushed it today. So crazy, it's low impact, but there's so much sweat pouring. I thank you so much for joining me today and look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.